Hey YouTube, this is Dean making another vid. If you like my content, please consider hitting like button. Also, please consider subscribing, as it is very much appreciated. Okay, saw these on Joe's Outdoor Places fire lighters, homemade fire lighters. He does a lot of processing of fatwood with a chainsaw and has a lot of debris left over, mire dust left over from the chainsaw. So he uses little paper medicine cups to do it. I don't have any of them, so I used egg carton shells, cut them out. He puts the chainsaw fatwood dust in there and then pours wax into them. I'm not sure if I saw the video the other day, and I think he may melt paraffin and petroleum jelly. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, I don't process fatwood with a chainsaw, so I don't have mire dust per se. The thought of making mire dust with a Smith's for this size application is a daunting one, so I used my block plane and just processed up a heap of fatwood curls, put them in. I did a paraffin and firegel mix, used 2 candles, paraffin candles, melted it all up, and then just filled them up until they were saturated up to the top with a little bit of curls left up so you could light it. Some of them had a little bit of the filler, like when you're melting the fire gel, I think it has a detergent filler in it that comes as a residue. Some of that went in there. That's that white here, not wax, but it's yeah. So there, some of it has a little bit on here as well. Anyway, never really got into making these. I mentioned to Joe that I would make a couple just to see how they would go. They look really interesting. These are mainly for lighting your fires, indoor fires. For in the colder climates, you have an indoor fireplace. These are usually about 10-minute burn. Let's see how we go. Probably don't want to sit here and watch. Very easy to light. It's fatwood, so I thought the fatwood would burn, would pick a spark up, pick a flame up. These are not the sort of thing you're going to need to be able to light with a ferro rod unless you put a little bit of, say, cotton in there. That looks really good. Nice burn. The wax is going to start melting. That's why I've got a little receptacle. The fire gel will add to its burning ability. The wax impregnated into the egg carton, so yeah, the whole thing's ablaze now. That's going really well. That would certainly get your fire going really well. Nice solid flame. Reasonably wind resistant. I wouldn't be breathing that stuff in too much. It'd be a bit of soot from the fatwood, but mainly could be from the fire gel or the wax. Paraffin wax, you shouldn't be breathing that stuff in. It's paraffin, so yeah, as I thought, it starts melting out. So yeah, you're going to get a little bit of residue down the bottom, but if it's in your fireplace, that is not too much of a difficulty. That looks like it's going to have a very good burn time. Like, I think Joe was reporting 10 minutes. I can see why. Because the wax just is a fire extender. With the fire gel in there, it just makes it burn a little bit more efficiently. I've pretty well settled on fire gel wax combinations now for any of these sort of fire related things, cotton rounds, plugs, this sort of thing. I don't get into this sort of fire lighters too much. I don't have a use for them as much because yeah, I don't have an indoor fireplace. I don't set fires in my backyard. I get done for smoke complaints, so yeah, I try to use butane or whatever, or briquettes, so I don't have to have a problem with the smoke as much. It is leaving a lot of wax residue in the bottom, which I thought would be the case. I just don't want to heat my stone up too much. Seems to be working really well. That will have a significant amount of burn time. Like that's it, it's settled down and it's still burning vigorously and going very well. I'm glad I've tried this out, Joe. Yeah, that's a good product. I like it. And if you've got mire dust or whatever, if you're processing fatwood with a chainsaw, I would not be throwing it away. It's just a waste. You can put them in, if you have chickens or buy a lot of eggs. I've got, I don't know, hundreds of eggs cartons because we buy a lot of eggs. We use a lot of eggs here at home. And I saved the egg cartons because I was doing nitrated egg cartons there for a while as a replacement for Amadou, which worked really well. But I've got a heap of these and they make a perfect little cup. You just cut it out and yeah, it's a little bit messy when you're doing it, but it seems to work all right. And you don't have to use the shaving, you just use shavings rather than thing. But if you're processing fatwood using a chainsaw, why not collect the dust? Because the dust would work magnificently in that as well, you know. Like that'd have to have been burning for 5 minutes now, easily. So if you can't get a fire, like a sustainable fire going for 5 minutes, you know, like, yeah, it's yeah. It's very good. It's a very good little fire starter. Very easy to make too. I had no dramas with making one. Another one of the thing, it could be just a a single burn item for, you put it in a little container if you just wanted a single unit to, just as a, like rather than having a fire, you could put one of them, light it up and just have that as your primary, like little fire. So, you know, like that there's giving off a nice amount of heat. I'm sweating. It's 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, although it is reasonably warm here. It's probably 20 degrees already, but 20 degrees Celsius. So, you know, it's giving off a reasonable amount of light, reasonable amount of heat. I don't know if you could cook off it, but, you know, like that's a nice little one-shot fire that you could do, and it's got a good burn time, you know, 5 to 10 minutes. But we are getting down to the end of it a little bit. Yeah, it's most of it is spent now. It's just the dregs of it. Don't know how much longer it's going to go for. May as well go to the end, get a reasonable look at what it does. Give it a decent amount, but some of them were a little bit smaller than the others. Like that was a bigger one compared to the smaller one, so you are going to get a little bit variation in it. Some of them, I tried to pack about the same amount of fatwood in each, and they are, as I said, just curls and yeah, wax and fire gel. I made up 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Yeah, that's just about all over. Because that'll just be spent fuel now. Just the last dregs at the bottom. I suppose if you turn it over, you get the last bits of it. There you go. Get a little bit more. Get a second life. Very good. Very good burn time. Yeah, not a bad product at all. Thanks, Joe, for that. And that's about it. There's a tiny little bit of flame here, but all over. And that's spent pretty much. It's just a little bit of cardboard and wax burning. It's still going a little bit in the death throes now. Tease it out longest possible time. As you saw, it was a bit breezy here, so it wasn't blowing a gale or anything, but had a little bit of a breeze, so reasonable breeze resistance, easy to light. I lit it with a lighter obviously, but yeah, that's pretty much all over Red Rover. They're done. Excellent. I didn't mind that at all. Quite a decent fire lighter product. If you've got a lot of fatwood shavings, fatwood mire dust that you make, why not make them in? I use egg carton shells, bit of paraffin wax, fire gel and fatwood put into things. I just filled it up with fatwood first, then poured melted wax, fire gel mix in and poured it up, let it froth, because it starts frothing, let it solidify a bit, then poured a little bit more in until you can see the wax filled up, left a little bit left over so you can light the fatwood here with a thing. You will get a little bit of spillage, but that's all right. Leave the spillage out. Make sure you do it on a piece of, I did it on a piece of aluminium foil just so that there's no gets wax everywhere, because sometimes it spills out. That's fine. Yeah, and the wax impregnates the outside of the carton, which is exactly what you want too, so that you get a better burn time. Heavily waxed. That one there is heavily waxed, but yeah, and that one's probably a little bit, didn't have as much wax in it. It probably wouldn't work as have a good enough a long bird time, but still long enough. Anyway, I'll as I watch this video again, which I do, I watch every of my videos through, I'll put the burn time in the description bar and pin it so that we all know how long it burned for, and go from there. Anyway, yeah, thanks Joe. That was they're good. Yeah, not a bad little product. And if you wanted to do this for lighting, like, this would be good to light troublesome tinders too, like you got wet wood or whatever. Break open your wood so that you had some dry wood, put your wettish wood on the top, put one of these underneath there. If you get a 5 or even 10 minute burn time, that would certainly give enough time to get the drier wood going, dry out your wetter wood at the top, and away you go. Anyway, that's my take on cup fatwood wax impregnated fire lighters. Thanks for watching.